I don't remember this part, but I look up and I'm in the ditch. But I went for a wooden fence and it was like, they put metal railings now. There's a speed camera just past Thomas Rothschild. I think you probably know it, in Cheshunt, just by the Lee Valley entrance. And they put metal railings. They used to be wooden. I went through them. They were like 4-inch by 4-inch wood. 3 slats of them. And this arm went through them. So as I've gone through, down into this ditch, I'm laying in this ditch. I'd shattered my scapula, broke my pelvis, punctured both my lungs, so I couldn't breathe. Like, I broke 10 ribs, broke vertebrae in my back. I stretched the nerves in my leg, so now I got like drop foot, and I had a massive head injury because the helmet just come flying off.
And I'm brutal. You're lucky to be alive.
100%. So I'm laying in this stream looking up, and it's running over me, and I just kept thinking it was my blood. And the Fed was like, "Chris, stop. It's worse than you think." Imagine he was the Fed I went to school with.
What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the Bluetick show. Opposite me today, I've got Chris Baker. Chris Baker lost his arm in a police chase. Chris, welcome to the show.
What's happening, mate? Right, yeah. Thanks.
First guy sat opposite me with one arm with a smile on your face.
Yeah.
Listen, you're a positive guy. We spoke before. We filmed a whole episode about it, and my fault of my own, something went wrong, but we're here, and hopefully bigger and better.
Yeah, for sure.
So, listen, Chris, clearly something major in your life has happened.
Yeah.
Talk to us. Who is Chris Baker?
Well, like now or from past?
From past. Tell me who little baby Chris is.
It started like when I grew up. Like I lived in North London, Enfield, born in Edmonton.
My childhood. The hood, yeah?
Well, it wasn't so much then, but it was all right. I lived with my mum. I didn't really know my dad. We was just there. It was good, good. My mum's like nice, kind, nurturing woman. So I had a good childhood with them, my nan as well, my granddad, my auntie. We had a small family. So Christmases are the same, get a lot of presents. I was spoiled. I was the only child of my mum.
Best feeling ever, isn't it?
Oh, man. You know how it is. All the attention. And then, that was just this life. And then I was going to school, just normal. I wasn't a bad kid. I was probably boisterous like a normal kid. Then I started getting calls from like my dad, and I didn't even know him. Like, so
throughout your upbringing, he weren't part of your life?
Till I was about 8, I started getting calls from him.
Mum tell you about him or not?
Not really, no. And I don't really remember him because the only time he was about is when I was up to 2. So and then he was gone from when I was 2, so I didn't really remember him. Then he's like saying he's going to take me go-karting, take me out, and he's on the phone. But at the time, he's saying he's been working. Obviously, he was in jail. I didn't know that then. Then he comes out, and it's just a different dynamic. Like, obviously, my mum and my nan and all that are straight goers, never been in trouble. This guy comes out, he's picking me up in stolen cars, I mean. And, like, it's like good, isn't it? Like, I suppose I look at it always as like, my mum was like the angel, he was like the devil, and the devil is more interesting.
Cooler,
like,
he's a cool guy.
Yeah, like sitting on his lap steering the car, and like you're in a brand new convertible BM and whatever it is stolen. And when you get older, you think, what the fuck was he doing to that? But like, he was just aggressive, anti-police, called them bully boys, and he was just a criminal, yeah. And then I remember the first time I was with him, and it was the first time I see violence. Someone bibbed the horn, and he just told him the lights had gone green. He jumped out the car, beat them up, and like these things from 8 till 10 he was there, and I was just learning these things, seeing this, and I was like, I was gravitating towards it. Yeah, it's a male figure that I hadn't had.
Did your mum ever advise you to not talk to your dad?
Nah, she always says, and she still does, like now, like it's your choice. I don't want to be the reason you don't, but she was probably quite sure that he would probably burn them bridges himself. Like, she allowed you that space to do it.
That's good though. You got to respect her for doing that as well.
Yeah, of course. Like, so that was just it for a few years. Then he stopped coming, and I feel like I was a bit distant with my mum. But about 10, and I was like always moaning, getting onto her like, where is he? Why is he not? And then she sat me down one time. I was watching Fresh Prince actually, and she's like, no, you got to turn this over. I was like, nah. I'm
watching Fresh Prince.
Come on, man. Will's doing his thing. And like, and then she put the news on, and I just see that he was getting life sentence, 3 of them.
3 life sentences?
Yeah, crazy. And then...
So how long is that in total?
Well, them times I think it was 15 years, but it's free to run concurrent, I suppose.
Okay.
So they don't do consecutive, but it was just.
And how did you actually feel when you sat there and saw because in your eyes he was your hero in some sense. Do you know what I mean? You look at him, you think that's my dad. That's like he's cool, and then you turn over the TV, you see your dad, the man who obviously you never knew he was a criminal in some sense.
I suppose I didn't really deep it at that time. I was like, put Fresh Prince back on, yeah. And then I think it kicked in when like the neighbours suddenly changed on us, and like the lady that was at the end of my landing that I used to go in her house, and she had like canaries and all these little birds, and now she's chasing me, calling me the N-word, bro. Like, wow. Because she's seen him around the house, I feel like, and then he's gone to prison, and then like
they're judging you off of your dad.
Yeah, and like she chased me. I remember that one guy that I was good friends with. He's a bit older than me, and one time she's chasing me, and he just went mad at her and said, "What the fuck?" And I was like, I don't know, 11. He was like 13, 14, and he just like stuck it on her, and then she like backed off. But like,
was your dad's case big in the like?
Yeah, it was. I watched it on BBC News, didn't it? So that's instead of Fresh Prince.
Yeah, that's a big.
But
case.
Yeah, it's not a good case. I don't really want to talk about it, but like it's what happened, how that changed me in a way, because then people rejected me. I felt like rejected. I had a lot of shame towards it, and growing up, I was very like, I don't know, like fear of not fitting in, fear of not. Do you know what I mean? A lot of my actions come from that, or through the shame, and then I just become defensive, angry, and what I found was like that anger. My mum was trying to be nurturing. I'm pushing that away because of like I just don't know.
Rebellious behaviour.
Yeah, just distance myself from it. I don't know if I blamed her unconsciously. Like I don't know why, but I did. And then that behaviour was, like I said, I was hanging around with older people. They loved that. They're like, yeah, come, hug, yeah. And you're getting commended.
In their head, they're thinking, let's take advantage of him. Let's get him to come and do work for us.
100%. Like, that's how it works. I feel like, and you're getting commended, and you start feeling like, yeah, I belong here. Like, this is me. Like, and then it's about taking it to more levels, and yeah, it just escalates, doesn't it? You just get
100%.
Caught up in a cycle. You glorify everything that's bad. And
this video is sponsored by Cranbrook Law, an award-winning immigration law firm. Their talented solicitors can help when any struggles arise regarding immigration law. They can help get you the visas they need. They can help get you the staff you need from any other countries. As you can see, the website is on the screen right now. So if you need anything to do with immigration law, message Cranbrook Law and let them help you. Whether you're looking to obtain a sponsor license, receive advice and guidance in relation to compliance and our civil penalties, or take advantage of our know-how and experience across a broad range of business visas, our talented and dynamic immigration lawyers are available to speak to you. Telephone numbers on the screen, emails on the screen, and hit the link in the bio if you need any help.
In everything good, you demonize, like, oh, fuck that's nerdy. Like,
yeah, that's true.
But yeah.
So what? Obviously, you're chilling with these boys. You doing naughty things?
Yeah, I started like fucking putting a little knife on my GT. I was only like 11, 12. I thought under my GT seat, you know, like your little BMX. Yeah. I never used it at that age, but like the fact that I even had it was like, where was my mindset? You know. Like, it was just like fights at that age, and like maybe a bit of shoplifting, like just
petty crime, literally.
Yeah, it didn't really escalate that at that age.
It did escalate.
Yeah, when I got older.
It did escalate, and I think, you know, believe it or not, actually I'm going to touch on that, because I'm going back into the old podcast thinking of things you said there, but I'm going to touch on them later on in the pod. It escalated. What age did you start doing a bit more, getting involved in being a bit naughty?
I'd say about 13, 14, yeah.
And what changed? How was your relationship with your mum at this point?
Yeah, like, I wouldn't say it was great. Like, I wouldn't say it was great because she didn't like the way I was, and I didn't listen to what she said, so I was getting chucked. I got chucked out of, I went Enfield Chase, got chucked out there.
Why did you get chucked out?
I feel like
Because one thing I learned, it does take a lot for a school to actually kick you out. Yeah. But I was always on that edge.
Yeah.
But I never got kicked out. Yeah. It was always, we're going to kick you out if you do this one more thing.
Yeah.
And I done 100 more things, I never got kicked out. Yeah. So you must have been pretty naughty in school.
I feel like I was trying to like show off maybe more. Like I would always argue with the teacher, be the one that shouts at them, calls them names, you know, like just disruptive. I don't know, maybe the class clown, as you say, but like I don't know why, I feel like now when I look at it, it's like, was you just trying to fit in, show like you belong, or I don't know what I was doing, but I was just always disruptive and argumentative with the teachers.
You was probably just trying to be liked, because obviously where you've had people disrespect you because of your dad's past, you were trying to be like, let me fit in.
Yeah, I think that's true, yeah, when I look back.
While you was obviously getting a little bit older, did your dad, while inside, contact you?
Nah.
Nothing at all?
Well, I didn't talk to him, nah. Wow. No, we didn't speak. And that had happened for years. Like, he's still there now today.
Is he still in prison?
From what I know, yeah.
And no contact since then?
Yeah, we have once.
He reached out to you?
Yeah.
How did it make you feel when he spoke to you?
that was techie. It was more recent, and I was just like, where I'm at now is a different position. So I just said, okay, cool. Asked him about the situation. He was honest, and I said, look, I forgive you. And then I've never spoken to him since, not because I just needed to let go of it, bro. Like, I've held on to it, and it's dictated my life for so long. Like, I've been that shame, that anger, the resentment towards him. It was just like, for me, like, yeah, cool, I forgive you, and now I can just move on, you know. So that was probably about a year or so ago. Yeah, he had sent messages through people in between that, but like,
but to hear his voice and speak to him was once.
Yeah, once, maybe once before when I was younger as well, like a bit younger. But yeah, it was just, the recent one was just to like let go of it for myself, really, just to just say like, fucking hell, stop holding on to this, because
it was probably shaping you as a character yourself.
Of course, you just keep being angry and resentful to someone, like it's just consuming you. Like I see it. I read something. Someone said, just like drinking poison, hoping they die. Yeah, it's like,
it makes no sense.
I related to that.
You're hurting yourself. Yeah, hoping they get hurt.
It's just. So I just had to let it go, and yeah, that was probably the best thing I've done. Like, we haven't spoke since, but for me, it was just like, yeah. Good.
Listen, as long as in yourself you know, then that's all that matters. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. As long as you know that you're not in that position anymore where, I always say you should always forgive everyone, but don't forget.
Yeah.
Forgive everyone. Forgive them. But then don't ever hold on to hate.
No.
But you ain't got to forget it.
Yeah,
you can remember what they've done and you can keep it moving.
Yeah.
But look, this is your story, not your dad's story.
Yeah.
I want to hear more about you.
Yeah.
13, 14 years old, you become a little bit naughtier.
Yeah.
Talk to us.
So like, yeah, then you start getting into drugs, I suppose. Start selling drugs. The fights escalate, I suppose, because you're out there in you're in the pubs and clubs, and then you're fighting the olders, and before you know it, you're using weapons. And yeah, like it was just, I don't know, if you don't know about it, it's just like you're out selling drugs and you're just getting into trouble with people.
Was you always carrying a knife?
Not so much when I had 2 arms, no. I had it when I was a kid, but I never used it. Then I stopped, and then after that, I never had one really when I had 2 arms. Unless like you knew you was going for something and they're gonna have some, but no, I wouldn't carry it day to day. Really.
That's good.
Maybe a duster.
But you know they're the same. You know, knuckle dusters are the same life sentence as a gun now.
No, I didn't know that now.
Yeah, so they're classed as even pepper spray, and you know a baton.
A kosh. Yeah.
A kosh.
Yeah.
That's a firearm.
But so's a stun gun, isn't it?
Yeah, stun gun, but stun gun and a duster is a little bit different.
They put duster in the same category.
Yeah. So even if you have, you know, them knives at home.
I never carried one.
Allegedly carried one. You know them knives at home, like the show knives. Yeah. You're not even allowed them at home no more.
Oh shit!
Like even me, when I used to go back home, like back to Cyprus and stuff, over there it's for sale everywhere. You can get big samurai swords, knuckle dusters. So I'd always buy them. Yeah. Always. Every year I'm coming back with like 3 knuckle dusters. Not to use, but you get it when you're cool. You put it on, you're like, yeah, I'm hard. Yeah, sweet. Let's bring it back home. Yeah. My mum last year in her house, she phoned me up. She was like, I've got all this fucking shit here you bought from Cyprus. Got rid of it all.
No way.
Yeah, man, it's dangerous now.
I didn't know that.
Police are cutting down on it all.
That's how you know I'm not involved no more. I don't even know.
No, I was just about to say, you know what I love the most, yeah? As much as I got this show, I've had all walks of life come on here, from the biggest, baddest gangsters to petty crime.
Yeah.
And everyone sits on here with a smile on their face, and people are like, why are they so happy? I'm like, every single one of them's turned their life around. Like, it's mad. That's the most important thing to me. Like, we're going to jump into your story, but, like, you can tell this story because it's not you. Yeah. You've done it all. Yeah. If people met you and you said, like, I've done all this, they'd be like, you? Nah, man, that'd be off. Yeah. But it's mad of what people don't ever judge a book by its cover.
Yeah.
But listen, back to it. So, obviously, walking around being a bit of a naughty boy, getting into fights.
Yeah.
That was a bit standard at that age, though. Yeah. I think everyone has that little phase. Having fights, school, stuff like that. Do you think that was just you being rebellious?
100%. And just like I say, just trying to have some man. Approval or some acceptance, I suppose. Just being around people that are doing that, and you just want to be the one that's doing it the most.
I'm the man.
Yeah, that's what you tell yourself. And how when you look back, it's just like, how deluded was that?
Did you ever get kicked out of home?
No, my mum would never kick me out.
No, really?
Never.
What was she saying when you're coming home? Obviously,
she wanted the police kicking the door down all the time.
For real?
All the time. I put her through so much. Like, I swear, even when I think about it, that's probably the worst out of everything that's happened to me. That is the worst what I've done. Like, the police and all that. One time I borrowed a car, crashed that. Do you know, just things that just all the time.
You borrowed whose car?
My mum's, and then we ended up just crashing. Obviously I was insured in that, but it's just what are you doing? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And the losing my arm, I couldn't imagine how much.
What age did you first get nicked?
15.
What was it for?
Oh God, it was for we run up in someone's yard for what we thought was drugs.
Bro, 15 years old, you're running up in people's yards.
Yeah.
So it was a bit naughty then, yeah?
Yeah, there was supposed to be a load of drugs in there, but there fucking wasn't. We come out, pissed. Got nicked, me and this guy, and then, we run, but we was running for time, they was chasing us, bro. They caught us hiding in some fucking woods, bro, and then, I got nicked at 15. The judge was saying, I would send you to prison, but he didn't. He just gave me some order. And I think, going to court, once I see that, it was scary the first time you turn up, you're like, oh shit, after that it become oh my God, it's like
normal.
I've got to go to court again. It's just a day out. It was pathetic. I'm in and out of court all the time.
That much? How many times do you reckon you got nicked?
I don't know, at least 40, 50%. I don't know, maybe
40 times.
I think so, at least. I don't know if they all turn into convictions, but convictions are up in. Yeah, but stupid things sometimes. It started just possession of weed.
But you've been nicked 40 times.
Yeah, I don't think I've been.
No, of course. Charged. But you spent 40 nights in a cell in a police station.
Yeah, no home leave. 40 nights.
Bro, that's. You know what it is like.
I think at least it could be more. I'm not sure.
So obviously the police knew who you was at this point.
Yeah,
in the area.
Mainly when I was in Hertfordshire, because obviously I moved from Cheshunt. From Enfield, we moved to Cheshunt, and then when I was in there, that's where most of my bad behaviour happened. And them times there wasn't many black people in Cheshunt, so or mixed race. So if you was active and they knew you, then it's not half of them to know you. Yeah.
And Hertfordshire police force is small as well.
They dislike me.
There's 3 cars that circulate the whole of Cheshunt.
They hated me, man. Hated me.
Yeah, but you made their life hell.
Yeah, for sure.
Talk us through a little bit of crime you done while in Hertfordshire.
So we do because I've moved from Enfield, thinking that Hertfordshire's that's what you
Posh
think.
area,
you think, so we was just robbing all the dealers in Hertfordshire. So me and my guys that I knew from Enfield would just rob them all. And where I built up a little line there, I'll just, as soon as I'll make a call, they'll come and then we just suck them for their food. And that was the main thing I was doing.
Any retaliation from that?
Yeah, lots.
Really?
Lots. Yeah, obviously all my friends got back to Enfield. I'm still living in Cheshunt. So I had some madness. But you know what? More happened when I lost my arm. People felt empowered because now that was.
It's not a fair fight no more.
No, but it weren't fair. They got robbed. They think so. But what else did we do? There's a lot of stuff. I don't.
What kind of retaliations happened?
People turned up on my yard a few times.
At your mum's house?
One time to my mum's house, that was a madness.
Oh, You see, when they come to their mum's house, it's different.
That was mad.
When they come to your mum's house, guys, like...
Yeah, no.
For the viewers watching, yeah?
I don't want to get into what happened. But it was a madness.
Fair enough. Turning up to my house, I'm at home, whatever, no problem. But my mum's house...
Yeah.
Now it's... You're dying or I'm dying. That's the mentality you got to have.
It was crazy.
Who was at home? Your mum was home?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to talk about that story.
No. We're gonna touch on that.
Not trying to get nicked again, no?
Nothing happened. We ended amicably.
You sat down, you all had dinner together, they come round for food, and that was it.
We had a discussion.
Who did you move to Hertfordshire with?
My mum, and she had a partner. She got a partner since I was about 13. She'd been with him. So
how did you feel when your mum got a new partner?
Yeah, I suppose I'll give him a hard time. Like, I didn't really gravitate towards him.
Do you reckon it was because, like, it weren't your dad kind of thing?
Yeah, I think so. I honestly, when I look back, I'll probably give him a hard ride. Like, I would have been, when I like meet girls now and they got kids, I think, fuck it, like. Well, I wasn't like you are, like, cause then and I'm thinking, imagine being that person coming in and you're like, boy, this
you got
kid's,
some crazy 50s.
This kid's just ruthless. The way he talks to me.
Was you rude to him?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, when I look back, yeah, I'd antagonize him as well. I was just
for real.
Yeah, I was
pressured
like
the guy.
I was like that. I was very like defensive, like and argumentative, and I was set in my ways. Like I was in this. So I think he probably had a hard time.
Is he still with your mum today?
Yeah, they've been together.
Good man.
Yeah.
Good man. He lasted.
He rid that storm, bro.
He lasted. When you was in Hertfordshire, what do you think was tougher, Hertfordshire or Enfield? You know, when this episode dropped, obviously it was out for a little bit. People were like, Enfield's, Hertfordshire's not North London. No, Cheshunt's not North London. You lot don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, guys, it's one road. It's one road apart. You got the A10 and you got Cheshunt. It's literally chill out.
Waltham Cross, you can walk 5 minutes to Waltham Abbey or walk 5 minutes to Enfield.
Literally.
But even some people say Enfield ain't really North London because it's an E postcode, isn't it? It's not an N. So they
I still class it as North.
Yeah, so do I. But some people say that it's not. But Cheshunt definitely isn't. Mm. And I think, but even though, because I was older in Cheshunt, I feel like that was probably the harder part because I'm at an older age.
All right, look, Chris, let's dive into the proper story. That's what everyone's here for. They've read the title, Man Loses His Arm to Police Chase. Mm-hmm. What happened?
Well, before that, I went to prison. Because I'd kept going to court. I got all these orders and I refused to go to community service. So I went to jail.
Why? Why'd you refuse it?
I ain't doing that. That was my mentality.
What, you ain't going to community service? No way. You prefer jail?
You think I didn't? I just said I ain't doing it. I ain't going there. You telling me to paint fucking swings.
First guy on my podcast ever that says I ain't going to community service.
No, that's what
everyone else is like, just give me community service, bro. I'll take the community service.
No, I was like, fuck that. I ain't going on a Saturday to go and paint some swings. Are you mad? And then I went to court for it, and he's like, well, you're going to prison for 6 weeks.
First time you ever went?
Yeah. Give me 12, do 6, and I was obviously a bit apprehensive.
How old was you?
I was like 20. Yeah, 20. Yeah, I was 20. And I went in there, and it was like, I landed on the wing. Obviously, you don't know. You're like nervous because you go in on the sweat box. You don't know what you're going to... It's the unknown. Like, how many people are going to be on here? Like,
was you scared? Honestly?
I would say I was nervous, definitely. Yeah, for sure. Because you don't know who you're going to buck that you've done wrongers to. You don't know what it's like. You've only heard the stories. You've never been. Like, of course you're going to be scared. Then when you get in, I come out, they bang you up. I come out in the morning. Next door is one of my guys, like from my area that I'm cool with. It was just like, is this it? It's like a community. Like, you know what I mean? It's just you play pool, table tennis, and it was hard because you miss your family. You know your family are riding it, but once you've been there, you're like, well, is that the worst they got for me? I swear. Like,
question then: as much as you can sit here and tell me prison's not hard, yeah?
No, it's
no, I get that. No, I hear that, but hear me out.
Family.
I was about to say, yeah. So, prison for you and for everyone who rides it, as in inside prison, I think is the easy part.
Yeah.
I think the hard part is when you got family members. When you're young, you got your mum at home crying every night.
Yeah.
Like even me, I've been nicked and spent a night in a cell. One night, my mum's phoning me, bawling her eyes, and I'm like, Mum, chill out. Like, I'll be home in the morning. Like, I'm coming back. Don't worry. But your mum knows you're not back for 6 weeks, for example. Mm-hmm. How does that make you feel, knowing that your mum is at home bawling her eyes out every night? She's mad at you. She's upset.
That's the hard part about prison. But when you're in there, you're like, I'm the one riding it. You're just wallowing in like self-pity. Like, I'm the one having to do it. You kind of forget how much it's impacting other people. But when, like, later I really see, like, my mum couldn't come and visit me because she can't leave me there. And, like, the thought of it must be hard for her. Because when you flip it and you think, imagine your mum in jail. Yeah. You're like, raw. Like, that's when you flip it and think like that, that's when you're like, raw. Yeah, that's
You can't do nothing either.
No.
She can't come in. Like, you're your mum's kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything in the world she wants you to do, you'll say yes, mum. Anything. Yeah. Even if she tells you you're not going there, you're coming in. Even at this big age now, I'm sure you'll still listen to your mum now.
Yeah.
But your mum can't do nothing.
No.
If she says, like, Chris, come home now, you can't do it. No. And if you flip it, your mum's in prison. As a son, you're taking your mum out of prison. You can't do nothing.
You can't do nothing.
Yeah, that's when you flip it like that. That is true.
That's when you start deeping it. You're like, fuck me. Imagine how you'd be thinking, oh, what if they're bullying her? What if they're nicking her? Do you know, like, because you've been in jail, you'd be thinking, oh, but even imagine thinking how she's thinking. She's just seeing it on TV, like, oh, these people. Do you know what I mean? She don't know.
And prison's always made out to be a lot worse than what it is.
So she's sitting at home, not knowing what it's like, thinking, is he not telling me the truth? Is it this or that? She don't know, does she?
And the thing is, no matter how you are as a person, how tough you are, how strong you are, how hard you are, your mum sees you as her little baby.
Yeah, 100%.
So she don't see the Chris who can handle chatting to a group of boys and saying to him, bro, I'm not scared of you kind of thing. She don't see that guy. She sees, oh, he's my little boy. Yeah. How's he coping with all these big men in there? Do you know what I mean? That's how they see it, and it's different. But was it easy then? Well, prison itself.
Yeah, you just
crack on.
Yeah, you just get on with it. There was a lot of social. It was a YO wing, and it was just it dragged a bit at first, but then by the time people were like, 6 weeks, it's nothing, and like in the end you just get it done and you're out, and it's like you come out, and I just feel like I come out with the mentality like, is that it? Like, I don't know.
What was the food like?
Oh mate. Atrocious.
Really? Was it that bad?
Food is, I was in Wood Hill that time. I've been there a few times actually, and the food's shit, isn't it? Like, it's terrible. Like, you get baguettes and just sloppy food. When your menu, especially when you first go in, if you don't, your menu ain't done, then and you don't know, you have to do a menu, and then otherwise they put you on like a default thing, and when you're first landing, you ain't got the survey guys patterned. It's long. Like,
what was that? Shit. Did you only go to prison once before you lost your arm?
Yeah.
Once?
Yeah.
How many times did you go to prison, obviously, after the incident?
I got remanded like 3 or 4 times. Like, I'd say 3 for while cases are pending. I got a 12-week sentence. So about 7 times, I'd say, to the last one. 6, 7 times.
Fuck me.
I think around that. I don't really count them, but yeah. I've been to a hella different jails though. I know that much, yeah.
So now, obviously, the main chapter in your life.
Yeah. So I come out. I just got straight back on it. I had a line that was it was my phone that when I went into prison with. I come out to turn it on, messaged everyone saying like I'm back. Way. Yeah, straight on it. Like,
you didn't think change the number?
No, like my mum and my auntie met me, wanted to see me when I got out. I was straight back on it that same day when I picked St. Cop, just jumped back on it. I ended up buying a bike a few months later because I was banned and then I'd lost my license. So
motorbike?
Yeah, so I bought a super bike.
Of course, you couldn't just get a normal bike. You had to go and get a super bike.
Yeah, no. And I was just driving around on that, doing what I was doing, and then one night. Was in the pub, me and 2 of my other mates at the time, and one of them gets a call, and it's like he finds out his girl's been in a mad car crash. She's hit a tree, and his little daughter was in the back seat, and the mum actually died.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. So me and the other guy that was there, he'd gone straight to the scene.
Of course.
Me and the other guy that's there, we just carry on drinking, and in the end, I was like, I'm gonna duck out, and then. Yeah, he was like, no, don't ride your bike, though. And I was like...
Was you drunk?
Yeah, I was a bit wavy. Yeah, definitely wavy, yeah. And I was like, nah, fuck it, I'm all right. And I read it. And I got back to where I was going. Then my guy called me in Cheshunt, because I was in Turnford, yeah, so it's just before. I was like, I'll come to him. They went to him, and everything was cool. We was chatting for a bit. It's when I left him, I shot off, and then these lights come behind me. I just dropped the gear, and I was blowing. Come to the bend, now coming too fast. Obviously, I'm thinking I'm riding like I'm sober, but I'm not, and my awareness ain't the same. Coming to the bend too fast, just like, I just went flying. I went flying in the air. I don't remember this part, but I look up and I'm in the ditch. But I went for a wooden fence, and it was like, they put metal railings now. There's a speed camera just past Thomas Rothschild. I think you probably know it in Cheshunt, just by the Lee Valley entrance. And they put metal railings. They used to be wooden. I went through them. They were like 4-inch by 4-inch wood, 3 slats of them, and this arm went through them. So as I've gone through down into this ditch, I'm laying in this ditch. I'd shattered my scapula, broke my pelvis, punctured both my lungs, so I couldn't breathe. I broke 10 ribs, broke vertebrae in my back. I stretched the nerves in my leg, so now I got like drop foot, and I had a massive head injury because the helmet just come flying off.
And I'm brutal. You're lucky to be alive.
100%. So I'm laying in this stream looking up, and it's running over me, and I just kept thinking it was my blood, but I was still trying to get away. And the Fed was like, "Chris, stop! It's worse than you think." Imagine he was the Fed I went to school with him years before in another school I went to.
Wow.
And then that's it. I was in and out of consciousness. I remember getting to the top and they're saying, "I need his blood. I need his blood." He may have been drinking. And I remember even the hospital person, the nurse there, was like,
"Fuck off, man."
They're like, "This guy is fighting for his life," kind of thing. And I was just in and out. But they still managed to get the blood somehow. So I don't know if they got it off clothing. I don't know if they took it from I don't know.
Well, you're probably bleeding out of everywhere. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
it wasn't hard.
Many blood transfusions. So I know I lost a lot of blood. I went to hospital, and then I was in an induced coma for 2 weeks. I remember waking up, coming out of the coma. I got everyone that loves me around me, all my friends, all my family. And I went to Billy, this guy Billy I know, "Get me a drink, bro." And then, because I've had tubes in my mouth was like fucking dry as fuck. And then he was like, everyone's just like started emotionally crying. And
was this the first time you woke up?
Yeah, as soon as I woke up. And I didn't know they're saying we're going to bring him round, but because of the head injury, we don't know if this guy's going to even know anyone, be brain damage, like it was a severe head injury, then maybe damage. Fortunately, I'm still like got that capacity. And I wake up, he got me a drink, everyone's crying. Then my arm's there, but bro, it was in pins, loads of pins. It wouldn't move, I couldn't move the fingers, and honestly, it stunk, bro.
How did you feel, genuinely, when you've woken up? I'm not sure if, obviously, you can remember it because obviously you're so drugged up.
Mm-hmm.
When you've actually woken up what can you feel? You can't feel none of your arm? Arm?
No, I can't feel my arm.
Just completely dead?
I'd rip the nerves. I think it's called a brachioplexus fracture. I don't know how to say it properly, so that might sound wrong. But it pulled the nerves out of the spine, sort of thing. So I couldn't feel it. I couldn't move nothing.
Try, or as in, did that even not phase you at that point?
Bro, at that point, I feel like I was desensitized. I wasn't even connected to the situation that was going on like I was.
You were just drugged up as well.
Yeah, I was on I was hella drugged. Like that, I kept pressing this button. You get like dropping into you, and you're like, eh. But like, I just don't feel like I even acknowledged what was going on at that time. I was just in like cloud, especially the first early stages coming out of the coma. I was just like, and I didn't know that it weren't going to be kept. I feel like they left it there because it would have been too much to wake up without an arm. But they knew probably then that it was never going to survive because it was stinking. It was
really that bad.
It was there. It smelled like, I don't know what dead bodies smell like, but it didn't smell good. It smelled like.
Was it different colour?
Yeah, it was like a yellowy. But I was different. I'd lost loads of blood. Had a lot of blood transfusion. I was as power as fuck. Like your background, yeah. But yeah, so that happened. I was in hospital for 6 months. My legs were balloons. Like they were like obviously I was bedbound. My legs were balloons.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know if that's what they put you on. I don't know how that happened. But my legs were like really swollen. I don't know if it was just the impact of everything. So I couldn't walk, couldn't get up, couldn't move. I was just there, bro.
And what happened next regarding your arm? Did they come and tell you? Did they say to you what's going to happen, or did you literally just wake up the next time? Did they put you back into a coma?
Nah, they left me out of the coma. I was on the intensive care ward, and then I think a few weeks later, when I come out of intensive care, I was on a ward.
So they kept you with the arm for that long?
Yeah, it was there. It didn't move. It was just there.
Was you awake at this point? Was you chatting to people?
Yeah,
like, had your phone? You was coming around kind of thing properly?
I was awake, but I was distant from people. I stopped people coming. I wasn't eating. I lost a lot of weight. Yeah, and then they come to me and they were like, "Oh, well, Chris, like, the arm can't be saved. It's actually getting sepsis and we're going to have to amputate it." I'm like, "No, you're not." But I was like bawling, like, "No, you're not," crying, emotional, begging them. They're like, "Look, if you don't sign, then your mum will have to sign because she's your next of kin. Like, we can't let you just die from it." So obviously, like, I had to pick the pen up with a left hand, and even that was traumatic because I was right-handed. Yeah. So I'm like I'm crying, doing this first signature, like, with my left hand. I couldn't even write my left, so you can imagine, like, that was just adding to the emotion because, like, I'm thinking I've got to write with this hand, and it was just like, yeah, it was not a good time, obviously. But
do you have police approach you at this point?
No, they left.
They left you to it
for, like, they did come when I'd got to a wheelchair by then, so I was rolling around in circles. On the hand, I was in a wheelchair, and then they come, and I just said to the doctor, like, "Get him out of here, man. Like, fuck that. I don't need to hear that right now. I don't give a fuck." Like, and then the doctor said, "Go away. What are you doing? You can't be here." They said, "Well, we just had to let him know he's being charged." Like, fucking.
Do you think I give a fuck about being charged right now, mate? Like, genuinely?
Oh, come on. That was just them trying to kick you while you're down, innit? Like, that's probably just payback of my actions before that. So that was that, really. I was in the wheelchair.
How long would you say you was in hospital for total?
About 5-6 months.
Oh, fuck me. That's a long time.
Yeah, it was bad. The stages of how I've just explained, I can't remember exactly.
Of course not. Listen, no one wants to remember that, let alone wants to try and remember it.
I remember I was on social, like, you have your laptop there and you're trying it, and then I think I said to you, someone messaged me and they were like, "You lost your arm, good. You used to be all right before, now you're a cripple," and all this, and I was thinking, oh shit, is this what I'm going to be getting? Like, people are like, yeah, good, like, that people took pleasure in that, and I get it because my actions before weren't great, but they must be in a bad place to be doing that as well. Also,
genuine question, bro. How was your state of mind when you come out actually losing an arm?
Bro, first of all, I was depressed for like 2 years. Like, I was depressed for years, like, not even 2 years, but, like, it was mad. I wouldn't come out. I was in my house wallowing in self-pity because, like, it's easy if someone does it to you. Yeah, you can go, right, fuck it, I'm going to get them. Like, I know that's not the right way, but, like...
You've got someone to blame.
Or you can blame them. But when it's you hate yourself. That hate turns inwards, that anger, that resentment, that guilt is all directed at yourself because you're the cunt that done it. Yeah. If honestly, so I hated myself. I hated the way I looked. I hated the fact that I had a prosthetic arm. I just wallowed in self-pity. People would knock on my... Obviously, I got moved into a place and... people would knock on my door and I'd pretend I weren't in. Like, my friends coming around would come and see you. Like, I was smoking a lot of weed. I distanced myself from my mum. Everyone that was supportive, I was just in a bad place for a good few years.
Was you ever suicidal?
For sure, yeah. Always feeling suicidal. Like, my life ain't worth living. Like, I don't want to live it. I even one time went to the train tracks, but I'll be honest with you, it was like 10 o'clock. I was thinking 10:30 in a winter night, thinking, I'm going to take my life. But I didn't have the balls for that. I don't know if it's even having the balls. I started deep in, like, look at my mum. Like, she was always crying, always upset. Sat there, read that whole thing, from hoping that I survived, for me to go out like that. But then I still contemplated it many times, like, because I don't know. It's just... I wasn't supposed to live that life. I wasn't supposed to be a person with one arm. I couldn't accept it. I didn't want to acknowledge it. I didn't want to accept it. Then I started thinking, like, I feel like I met one girl and I started doing things that I used to do to feel like, to become that person I used to be.
Like what?
So that's when I started getting back into crime again. So I started selling tickets again.
Before we do jump onto that, What happened with your case, obviously, regarding the police? They come back. You got charged.
Yeah, so I went to hospital. I went to court, and I went in there, and obviously, like, I was, by this time I'd gone from a wheelchair, but I had braces. Yeah. I had to have one crutch. I couldn't walk properly for long periods of time. And I've gone in there, and I know the judge from before St Albans Court, and he's just like, Mr. Baker, I can't punish you any more than you punish yourself. I hope you learn from this. I hope I never see you again, and I'll give you the minimum I can give you. And it was like a 12-month conditional discharge with probation, so you have to just go
sign on, basically
see the probation and just get support. He said just for you to be supported for the next 12 months of your life. And then the probation were like, if you feel like come in, we understand if you don't. And I was like, I don't feel like it for most of the time, and it was that. It was really the minimal they could do. Like they were lenient, really. They could have burdened me if they wanted, but I think they knew that wouldn't be beneficial at that point.
I've got a question for you. Yeah. Maybe I'm wrong. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is just me now speaking out loud. Yeah, you laugh a lot.
Yeah.
Do you laugh to stop yourself getting upset?
I don't know. I feel like, it's just like a...
Because I've realised whenever you're touching on a point where it's... The viewers are probably like, wow, you laugh.
Yeah, I think it's like a nervous...
I do the same thing
like,
when I'm...
emotion.
When I'm upset or something and I'm around people, to stop people knowing that I'm over my emotions. I'll make sure I laugh, or I'll make sure I'm angry, or I'll make sure I do the complete opposite to how I'm feeling to cover my emotions.
Yeah.
Because we're men, we're alpha male, we don't ever want to be upset. Do you laugh to hide your like?
Yeah, what's the alternative? I start bawling. Like that is that is.
Listen, of course.
Get tissues, man. Come here. No, it probably is. That is, it is. It's not even a probably. It definitely is. Yeah, it's like that hits me. It's emotive to me, and if I laugh, it's like that gets rid of that deep emotion.
It makes it fake in your head. It makes it seem like
makes
it's just
not, because otherwise it changes your dynamic. I'll be like I'm talking something emotive, I'm going to go emotional, I'm probably going to get upset, you know? So if you just laugh, it just brings you out of that. Like, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And how did you get to that state? How have you brought yourself to be in... Because, look, you could have genuinely... Many viewers watching this, me personally, you're stronger than me. I can say it openly. You're way stronger than me. If I lost my arm, I probably would have taken my life.
And that's what I said before I lost my arm.
Yeah.
But once you're dealt the cards,
100%.
you find out how strong you really are.
100%. And you only find out how strong you are in hard times.
Yeah.
But... You've overcome, but listen, we're not even halfway through your life.
No.
You've overcome something so tragic and traumatic and major in your life. It's gonna be without you for the rest of your life now.
Yeah.
How have you brought yourself to a position where you're sat here on the Bluetick show? You can tell your story. You're not in that depressed state of mind. Look, listen, no one knows what happens when you're at home. You could go home every single night and sit there and say, God, why have you done this to me? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know what happens in your hometown, but how have you brought yourself to be able to come to the public eye and speak about your story? What changed in your life?
Well, that gets later after, because like I said,
I know we're not even halfway through.
First of all, I didn't change. I tried to get the belief that I'm still the same person I was. But,
so go on, talk to us.
But that person I was pretending to be, like trying to be the old person I was a negative person. So I went back to crime. I started selling drugs. I started trying to make myself feel like, that's it, I'm back to who I was. But even though that person I was bad, do you know what I mean? So I was back selling drugs.
Do you reckon you've done even worse crimes now?
100%.
To prove to yourself, I can still do it.
100%, because I'm now vulnerable. So now I have to use a weapon.
You got a hit first kind of thing, do you know what I mean?
And I have to have a weapon, because fist to fist, I'm going to get tumped up in it if we're real about it. Like, I'm not naive enough to think, but even with a knife, you still got a good chance of losing against someone that can have it with two arms. So
would you always carry in at this point?
Always, because I'm in that position where I have to, like, do you know what I mean? I put myself in that position. And I was doing that. I was going back to doing like robbing people. And one, I think, I don't know if I showed you last time, that we went and done some guy for some boxes of skunk, got in there. He had to call the guy, so we're holding him in his own house while he's calling the guy. And then we get the food, the guy comes, we run off with a couple of boxes of skunk, like, and I'm feeling like, I'm back to myself. While I'm running with it, my prosthetic arm's falling off. And I didn't even deep then, like, what am I doing? It was just trying to, like,
be the man again.
Feel like I used to feel, chasing that I don't know, that feeling again of being normal and not caring. I was not dealing with the thing. I was trying to feel how I was instead of processing and dealing with the trauma or the grief of losing my arm. I didn't. I was just trying to make myself feel like I did before, thinking that's going to change the situation. And it was just suppressing. And then in the end, we get to that. But that's why it ended up coming out in a madness. And I got the bird.
Did you not think you were going to be the easiest person to identify to the police?
100%. I can give you a scenario about that. So I'm there, right, with my prosthetic arm, because at that time I couldn't be without it. I was insecure massively, and I felt like that gave me some like normality or whatever. And all my guys, I'm not going to say too many, but like the riots was on, and they're like, we're going to do it. I'm like, I'm coming. And they're like, you fucking ain't. You're a known associate to us. We're dropping you home. Like I said, no. They're like, no, you're going home. Like you fucking ain't coming with us. Like, and I was like, that's when I deeped it. Like fucking no, like yeah, because I'm so bait. Like even though it was an arm there, it just hangs there. You can tell something's not right with it. And they're like, no, man, you're mad. You ain't coming with us.
Nice, man. Because listen, realistically, you get robbed by someone. First thing you say, oh yeah, he had one arm. Straight away, there's not hundreds of millions of people.
Sometimes people don't notice it, you know. Like I tell you, I went to a festival and a guy had a ticket for sale, yeah, and I bought it off him. But then another guy come and wanted 2 tickets, and he only had 1 left, and he offered like more money than me. So the guy said, "Oh, let me get the ticket back." I'm like,
no way.
You mad? I just see it. The guy, he's like, but I need it. I'm just gonna get. I'm like, fuck off. So he went to the feds and said he won't give me my ticket back, and they just walked off, yeah. And like, I'm standing in the same place while my other friend's trying to get one, but he wouldn't pay the price the guy was charging. And
what event was this?
It was what's the one in Reading Festival.
Okay, yeah.
So then he must have went to the gate and got police and said he was held up at knife point robbery. Yeah, they've come to me, right, nicked me there and then. And who's going to take a knife to Reading Festival? Even though I used to carry them, you're not going to go where you know multiple police are and you're going to get searched and you're going to have a knife. Yeah. So they come to me, I'm in a blue hoodie. They nick me on the spot for a knife point robbery. I'm saying, like, come on, man, I'm in the same position. They must have liaised with Hertfordshire, charged me.
They took you straight to cells?
Straight to police, interviewed me on this guy's statement, charged me, remanded me to Bullingdon.
Fuck off.
Remanded me and my prosthetic arm to Bullingdon. And
is this the first time in prison since then?
No. No, it weren't. No.
Okay, of course not.
And they put me in Bullingdon. 6 months I waited for a court case.
6 months?
Yeah, this is what I said to you.
Swear to God.
You have to. And them now it's longer. Like they get a custody time limit. Basically, they get 6 months to bring you to trial. Otherwise, the judge has to issue another custody time limit, I think it's called. And basically, the judge don't always do that. They'll say, no, you had 6 months to get him to court. Now we're going to ban him. But because of COVID, people are waiting like 12 months now. It may be longer. Went to court. Now the guy's turned up. Now I've not got my prosthetic. I don't wear it in prison because it was just a public thing, like girls or whatever.
In prison, you don't care.
Yeah, because these are all. I never cared in prison. Now I've gone into the dock and this guy's there, but he must have not noticed that I had one arm at the time. Yeah, because so my barrister's asking him questions like, okay, so can you explain how Chris done this? Like, he held the knife to you. He's like, yeah, and then he said, how did he take the ticket? And he's like, he took it with his other hand. And that was it. The judge directed the jury basically that can't be the case, and obviously it got dropped.
A genuine serious question now. How did you feel knowing you've gone to prison for 6 months for nothing?
Oh, that's just how it is, man. Like I've been.
Was you pissed when you went in?
Yeah, of course. Like, you're always pissed when you go in, even if you're guilty. Like,
yeah, but still, like this one, you know, like
at
least sometimes you're like, listen, I've done it.
Yeah, but you're still pissed. You're still pissed because you got caught or what?
Fair enough. Action. But this is, I've not done this one. Like you know when you get caught for doing like 50 to 40, you're like, oh, normally I'm doing 140. I wish you caught me then. Yeah, like this, you've done nothing.
Yeah, I was stressed because the length of sentence I would have got, he was saying like 7 to 8 or something like that first time. But I knew I didn't do it, and I knew that, like.
Did you have a knife on you?
No, I didn't have a knife. Didn't? I would have got caught with it. They took me and strip searched me because they thought I had one. I knew that. Come on, man. How's he gonna play this out? Like, I'm saying to my brother, how did I take it? How did I hold a knife to him and take a ticket? Like, what? I put it once. Let me put the knife in my pocket. Get that ticket. Like, it makes
no sense.
It's no logical. Like, the case had no legs, man. I knew that. My story was watertight. Well, I'm standing in the exact same position that I just robbed someone at knife point in the exact same jumper. This brat. Come on, man. Like, I can't see. I was stressed, but even though you don't know, it's the unknown. You think you might get back for it, but in my head, I felt like I had a strong case because I knew I didn't do it.
What was the first time back in prison like with one arm?
Oh, it's mad. Like, I don't know, because obviously I wasn't really used to living one arm and having to do everything. Things were still hard.
What was it for? What'd you go in for?
I got remanded again for.
So I heard remand. Isn't remand what they do when either there's a victim, or when you're a risk of flight?
Oh, once you go to the police station, they take you to court, and then the judge says, "All right, we'll remand you while trial." It never not happened again for me. Like, it was, all right, cool, remand him while we planned the investigation. I used to get bail, and then once.
You've done it.
I think once you start breaching orders and breaching things like that, it's like, we'll remind him. Don't turn up to community service, or you have a tag and you don't fucking come in at the right time.
Did you not listen to that?
No, I did, but we used to
slip it off.
No, we used to put bare socks on when they come round, put it on, and then make them put it on that, and then get hair straighteners, and then you could stretch them, and then take it off, and just so I've got to go and drop my tag home because you just stretched it off. But when they come to take it off, I know that you tampered with it, but you say that's how you done it. Like,
so but wouldn't they say when they're putting it on, you got like 4 socks on? Yeah,
sometimes, but you just make them do it. But now they're a bit more stricter. But them times you'd be like, nah, and I'll just be like, nah, I need it because of my leg. Just chat shit. Yeah, I've got bad legs.
Yeah, any of you lot want to know how to
but obviously now I think they're really strict on it. I ain't had one for ages, but when I got out the last time, I had to have a GPS, and they were like, no, you got to take your socks down. Like, they were on it, so maybe they know about that. Yeah. But this is way back. So
go on, when you went in the first time, after you were on, what was prison like really? Did you get people being disrespectful in prison?
No, I find that prisoners are more like, my man's like, I don't know if they feel like, he's got an arm, like, it's cool. Do you know? Kind of, but the screws, I just struggle to, like, I need certain things, like, to do. I've got one arm. Certain things you need to have your day going smoothly. And what I noticed that they don't really accommodate that. They don't care about that. You're just a number.
They just see all,
They're like, all right, cool, he's got one arm, so what? Put him in cell 13 or whatever. Do you know what I mean? They don't give a fuck that you need adaptions. You need this. You need that. How am I opening tins with a fucking normal tin opener you're trying to give me? Like, come on. Like, there's issues I need, and they don't care. They ain't got the time to care that there's someone getting stabbed on D-wings. You know, like, they don't care.
They don't care about you. Yeah. They are, like you always said, you're a number. You are a number, and that's it to them.
And so that would frustrate me, and then I'd end up getting in shit sometimes.
With the screws.
Sometimes, like I was in Scrubs, and then I ended up getting shipped out to Wayland. I think I was on remand then.
What's going on, guys? This video is sponsored by Louis. Some of you know him on Insta as Loads. One of the best Instagram names, let me tell you that. Guys, Louis has been building online businesses for the last 5 to 10 years, and he has spent the last 5 years coaching others one-to-one on how to start businesses. Louis's got over 2,000 profitable testimonials. And guys, let me be honest with you. I wouldn't let someone sponsor the show who I didn't vouch for. So trust me, it's legit. Literally, just go send him a DM on Instagram. It's @Loads. All you got to do is say to him, I come from the Bluetick show. Help me make some money. And I know most of these people out there scams, and there's plenty of people out there offering you millions and millions of pounds and stuff like that. Louis is one of the 1% who actually do it properly, legitly. You don't need nothing. All you literally need is a phone and Wi-Fi. Send him a message and leave the rest to him. Guys, and if you want to know why I'm sitting here pushing it so much, it's because realistically, doing a 9 to 5 ain't going to get you nowhere. And I know most people sit here and say this because they're getting some sort of commission for it and stuff like that, but I really ain't. I'm telling you as a good person, the host of the show, doing a 9 to 5 ain't going to get you nowhere. So go message Louis, say you come from the Bluetick show, just ask Louis for the business model, let him do the explaining, and let him explain to you how he can help you. I'll see you soon. So why did you get longer?
I don't know. Actually, I do, because my barrister was like, look, we'll take this to Crown. The Crown will throw this out. It's pathetic. Like, you shouldn't even get in charge of this. And my solicitor said, yeah, you should go to Crown because, and I'd used these solicitors for years, Michael Carroll, yeah, and like he was like, the solicitor said, look, if you go to Crown, the Crown are gonna say, what is this? Like, this is pathetic. Yeah. I went to Crown, they said, no, you can't. We're giving you 15 months for this. You shouldn't be doing that.
What would you say to your solicitor?
Well,
swore him. Could every name under the
I could have stayed in magistrates. The maximum I would have got 6. I think that's what my code did.
Okay, that's what your code done.
Yeah.
Raw.
Yeah, but that was. Yeah.
So talk to us, Chris. Unless there is anything else you want to touch on, I want to understand how you've got the mindset you have today. What was the turning point? What changed you? Because clearly losing an arm didn't affect you. No. You went straight back to it.
Yeah. And then what happened is I end up, so after all them little 15 months, 7.5 months in prison and the remands, I was back at it again. And
bro, did you, genuine question, brother to brother, did you not learn your lesson? Like real talks, forget about the cameras. Like seriously,
no, bro. That's one thing I've picked up on. Like, I try to learn quicker than I did before.
But genuinely, like, it's they say the description of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again
and hoping for a different. Yeah. I don't know what I was hoping for. I don't think I was hoping for anything. I was lost, and I think most people involved in that life are lost. And I feel like a lot of stuff happened, and I was just acting how I felt. Like I was just doing what I wanted to, or felt that was making me feel better. And I got back bad into it, and I had this guy that I've known for years working with me, and he ended up taking some food off me. Yeah. Well, actually, a girl rang me up, and I'd been drinking and getting on one. Yeah, on a wavy one, and she's like, oh, well, he done it cheaper. And I knew he couldn't. So I was like, what? So I asked him where the food is, bring it. And then it was light. Ended up getting in the madness with him. He ended up getting stabbed. And then I demanded the money that he owed me with menace, they say, because I said, you better get my money. So that's blackmail. And then I held him while he was trying to get the money. So that was false imprisonment.
It's a kidnap.
Well, false imprisonment. But yeah, it's similar, isn't it?
What's the difference?
False imprisonment is like holding someone against their will, and then kidnap is when you grab them, throw them in a boot, and say you come with me, sort of thing. So it's similar, isn't it? You're still holding them against their will. But anyway, that happened. I got again remanded straight
with one arm. 1 second, stop, because that's the title right there. I held someone false imprisonment with one arm.
Yeah.
And what did he do? Didn't he?
He got stabbed. I don't want to talk too much about it because I'm still on license for that.
Oh, for real?
For that offence, so I don't want to get into. I have to have empathy for the victim, otherwise my probation would be moaning at me. But, he was involved in that life. It happened, and I went to court for that. I got remanded straight away. Again, once I got charged.
How did you get caught though? He snitched?
No, he basically he made a whole statement. Yeah, he made a whole statement. And then I went to court for it. And I didn't think he was going to turn up because I had information that he might not go. And
how'd you get the information?
So as soon as I landed, I bought a phone. As soon as I landed on the wing, the next day, my guy was there. I bought a phone the next day. Had a phone. Was chatting to my people. Now I'm in Bedford. I've been in Bedford loads of times. So I was back in Bedford, and in Bedford they don't like to put me on C wing or A wing because them wings there, when I was there from before, I got chucked out for that. We got shipped to Peterborough because you can fucking throw parcels over the wall there. And it's just, so they put me on B wing anyway with my guy, and I got a phone and I found out that he's not going to go. I was sitting there on remand for ages, and that was stressful because that there was a big case. I knew that if I get back for this.
What was you looking at?
I didn't think double figures. I thought they might give me like an 8. So I went court. My thing was, it didn't happen. I didn't really have a statement. I was just hoping he didn't go to court. Yeah. He didn't turn up the first day.
He didn't?
Like, yes, this is it. The next day, they dragged him to court. He's there behind the screen, bro. And, he was saying, I take a lot of drugs. Yeah, this is his exact words. He said, I take a lot of drugs. I don't remember it. I don't think Chris did it. Do you know what they said? They said, and every question he was asked, he said that. He said, I don't remember, I take a lot of drugs. Chris, I don't think Chris did this. They said, you're hostile. You can go home. We discharge you. We're going to go to trial on your original statement.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what happened. And then how can you cross-examine a statement? Yeah. And then I'm trying to say I didn't do it, and it just I just got found guilty. Like
how long for?
They give me a 10.5 EDS.
What's EDS?
So it's an extended determinate sentence, and basically you have to have a dangerous assessment. So, like you have to be probation has to assess you, and then it goes to the judge, and then the judge can give it. So he said because I'd done an affray before that. Oh yeah, I can talk about that. I got nicked for an affray where someone got hit with a brick and a sock. Before that, and I got arrested for that, got nicked for that, and I got 18 months for that as well.
Well, that was you, right?
Yeah, I got done for that, and the judge said because you've escalated from an affray, I deem you dangerous, which is not a consistent pattern of violent behaviour. Affray isn't really a violent behaviour, but because I escalated from that, he deemed that the EDS was warranted. So if the IPP hadn't been extinguished, I would have got that. But so he gave me the EDS. And I had to have a dangerous assessment. And I ain't happy about this. I'm smiling again, but it's just when I think about it, I've looked and there's not one other guy with one arm that's been given an EDS sentence and put on a dangerous man like assessment and been deemed dangerous with one arm. Do you know, like to get an EDS? So the judge said in sentencing, I said, I'm giving you 10.5 EDS. You will serve 5 years, 3 months.
Wow. Was that the longest you've done in?
Well, you fucked up then because EDS means you serve 2/3. So I should have served 7. So I had grounds for appeal because how can any summing up? You said you're going to serve 5.5. Yeah. When as soon as I went to jail, they said no, you have to do 2/3 of an EDS sentence and go for parole. I'm like, so I got to do 7. They're like, yeah. I'm like, all right. So we appealed on the conviction because the fucking witness was weak, and we appealed and we got granted on leave to appeal on the conviction. Because they believed that our points were valid. When I went to court, I went to the the major court, Court of Justice, Royal Court of Justice in London, and they were like, okay, we're not gonna do nothing with the conviction, but we do see that in the summing up, the judge said 5, so we're gonna drop it to 8.5 EDS. I'd already done 18 months, so another 18 months I can be in DCAT. So it changed the dynamic then. So it weren't 5 years more. It was 18 months I could be in DCAT. And that's when I started like focusing on playing the system. I'd met some guy. By that time I'd gone from Bedford to Peterborough, done a year in Peterborough, then I was in Loudon Grange. And I met some guy who was a lifer, and he said to me, let me see your OASIS. I didn't even know what an OASIS is. It's basically your risk assessment from probation of what they deem you risky, like your risk. And now he's looking at it, he's like, Chris, I've never seen, and I've been in dispersal doing this with people, someone that's got very high, my probation stitched me up, bro. They because my attitude was wrong, and because of my accident and the way I was dealing with it, they deemed that you have 3 categories on your own. This I don't want to get into it, but it's like a score. You have 3 categories,
you was the highest,
and you get very high, and I had medium, I think, or high. It might have been very high, and he's like, you ain't getting no DCAT or no CCAT or nothing. Well, this is issue. You need to do all these courses. So I started getting on Resolve, and I think Resolve, it's about emotions. They talk about, they do go in a bit about your childhood, but they don't really go into the extent of what happens. They just say, tell us like your family tree or whatever, like your cycle, like of your, in a chronological order, what you've happened. But they don't deep like, oh well, what did this make? They don't go like that. It was just to see what it is. But they talk a lot about emotions and how emotions impact you, and that really, because I was naive to emotions, I had no understanding of any of it. So I think that sparked it. It didn't really do anything, but it sparked it, and I played the system, got my CCAT, went to Mount, was in Mount for like 8 months. Tried to get my DCAT, I had to use these techniques because I've learned all these PSIs, and I think I'm like a lawyer. I think I'm a prison lawyer now. And they were moving, they were like, no, you're not getting your DCAT. They refused it because some bullshit like Intel, and I appealed it, went DCAT, whatever. And I think when I got to DCAT, that's when I really started like
working on yourself.
100%. Like I met some guy called Sam, and I told him like, no, actually before that, I wrote a book, and writing everything down in prison and seeing it on paper, yeah, and actually saying like, oh, I've been through this, X, Y, Z, this happened in my childhood, that's probably given me these beliefs. Like you start seeing it, and it allowed me to emphasize not only what I've been through, but how what I'm doing is impacting people. And it gave me a totally different perspective. It made me able to understand these traumas and then see how they trigger me in certain aspects of my life, and how that was impacting how I was showing up. And just writing that down was massive. Then, and I think it's multifaceted, like I said to you, that it was the emotion thing that started, seeing that, then writing down my life, then meeting Sam, someone that's actually my first male role figure that I would say that is positive, that I look up to. He's successful, rich. I know it's in prison, it sounds like a bit hypocritical, but he's successful.
What was he in prison for?
Fraud.
Okay.
He's very successful, got businesses, a lot of money, been to Harvard. Do you know, like, when I talk to him, I see how dumb I am. Like, this is in 2019. Like, I didn't even know what society meant. He said it to me, and I'm like, that's how wrapped up I'm in the streets. And that's when I realised, like you don't know nothing. And I started to learn with him, and he would encourage me. Told him I want to become an author, and he helped to like instill hope.
Do you still talk to him?
Yeah, I was supposed to meet him on Monday, but he had a urgent business call, so he's coming next week, he said. But his schedule is crazy. And yeah, he like...
Well, listen, if you can, see if we can get Sam on here too.
I will ask him, but he's very private. Like,
listen, it's always worth
asking. I can only ask him, but I'll be surprised if he said yes, if I'm honest. Yeah, so then him, and then it was like fitness. Like I still had my road mates, because I'm in prison still. There's still people that are, and they say to me, Chris, like, you're fucking fatter than when you come in. Like, you've been in jail for 3.5 years, what you doing? Like, and that resonated because I knew I'd never get that time back in prison, yeah? You never get that. But if I can get healthier, I might potentially live longer. Do you know? Like, and I was fat. I was 108 kg with one arm.
108 kilo.
With one arm.
How much are you now?
78, 80.
Fuck me.
You know, you fluctuate.
Yeah, of course.
So I was fat, so I started walking. I couldn't even run. Like, so I started walking, but I started eating better, and I just consistently done this, yeah, honestly, and I hated it. And then I started running. Then I was doing fucking 5k, and then I was doing 10k, and in the end, I lost like 5 stone. And well, doing that, like what I noticed is that I was doing things that I didn't like doing, and that was like me building discipline. Because I didn't like it, but I'd still done it. And when you're ticking off these goals week in, I'm going to lose a kg, and you're seeing it, and then you're seeing the goal, it built some discipline in me. And then like, it also built self-confidence, because I was keeping them commitments to myself, and I'm loving the results. Like, I feel healthy, I feel like I look better. And yeah, honestly, that changed. I stopped feeling depressed. Then when I got into shape, I stopped feeling depressed. I stopped taking medication for it.
But no one understands how important fitness is.
Yeah.
In general, like, as mad as it is, but even me, if I don't go gym in the morning, I'm having a bad day.
Yeah.
I can assure you, I'm gonna have a bad day. Mm-hmm. Even now, I've got an online coach. Shout out to Josh. I got an online coach, and he makes me train 4 days a week.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, I can't do it. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I need to be in the gym. I was like, just make me go to the gym. Yeah. I was like, even if you just want me to do 10 minutes cardio, just get me in there.
Yeah.
And if I don't go gym in the morning, I'm having a bad day.
Yeah.
It's the mental game. Gym isn't strong, going gym, lifting weights and all. That's the easy part. It's about making sure you turn up.
It's consistently doing that, and it's being disciplined. Like, and especially when you don't want to do it, it's like, yeah, that's when I have to do it. Yeah, like when you got to scrape ice off your car and you're going to the gym, and you want to wear shorts because you want to check, but you're freezing, and you're just like, but it's doing that consistently. Yeah, like you say, you have a bad day. But so that was part of it, and I feel like also Sam got me into reading, because I was telling him I want to become an author. I've written my life down, and he's like, well, do you read? I was like, no. He's like, well, what author fucking don't read? And I was naive enough to think that you don't have to read. And I started reading loads of self-help books, and I feel like them 4 things working was like spiritual, physically, mentally, emotionally, and I was working on them, and I didn't notice it at the time, but I feel like that's what changed the way I thought and felt.
It makes a big difference. Working on yourself is the most important thing, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to Sam as well. Big shout out to Sam. If he is watching this, bro, shout out to you.
He will be watching. You're tuning in.
And you've come out of prison now, yeah?
Yeah. We met Andrew in there as well. I was in.
You met Andrew, yeah?
Me, Sam, and Andrew were friends.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
So Andrew, I actually met Andrew through Sam, I think, or like.
For everyone wondering who Andrew is, he's a previous guest of the show.
Yeah.
Andrew Pritchard,
and
real life gangster.
Yeah. He was working hard in the computer room in Ford, and he see me working on my, because I'd had it all in writing. That's another thing. I writ it with my left hand in paper.
Real? What's your handwriting like with your left hand?
Well, it's better now, but it's like you're reliving that trauma because you're just doing something, But I had to type it up onto the computer, and then Andrew was there working on his shit, and he got out before me, but we stayed in contact, and yeah.
What did you think of Andrew?
Nah, he's a lovely, genuine guy. See him, he's just like, he is just a gangster and a gentleman.
One thing I learned about Andrew, he's one of the most intelligent men I've had on this show.
Yeah.
As in, genuine, the way he conducts himself, and as a man, I sat there. I'm not very intelligent, I'll be honest with you. I'm street smart. I've been brought up in North London. I think most people from North London ain't really good at school. And I was talking to him in a podcast, and bro, he's so intelligent and speaks so well. Like the same thing you had with Sam. Oh my God, I'm thinking shit. I was the same thing.
Yeah.
They're smart, and when you hear smart people who have been previous criminals, you now understand why this was so successful as criminals.
Mm-hmm. And this is why I put myself around these people, because that's where growth is. Because you're around people that are clever, and you have to get fucking clever.
Yeah.
Who wants to be the dumbest person in the room? It's good to be, but not to stay.
100%.
It's good to be the dumbest in the room, but not to stay the dumbest in the room. And Sam, like I said, went Harvard. Andrew, like you say, is intelligent, and I put myself around them while I was in prison, and that helped. Like, it's people that inspire you. And once I got out eventually, like them ties are continued.
You now are part of Andrew's foundation, right?
So we've just literally got funding to create a course for people with disabilities. Yeah, it's a big move. Shout out to Andrew. We're collaborating together on that, and we're going to create a course for people with disabilities. And I want to do one about adverse childhood experiences eventually, but we're starting with the disabilities because that's where we got the funding. And because, like I've said to you before, like that childhood trauma stuff plays out in adult life, and 80% of prisoners in the UK have been through childhood trauma, and like ACEs instead, adverse childhood experiences. And that's what I want to make an awareness course on, because when you go to prison, you don't really get touched on. And I know like it's a raw subject that people ain't gonna want to open up about, but just giving them that awareness that I learned through podcasts and books, and to understand the impact of how that childhood trauma affects brain development as you get older, and just how it can make you not be able to regulate your emotions, be a bit more impulsive. If you can understand that process, the awareness is the starting point of healing. Yeah, and I feel like we should be creating courses based on that in prison.
Well, listen, that's what you're doing now. That is what you're doing.
Well, we're starting. That's the first step. We're starting with a disability one, but the goal is, for me, my passion is to make that one.
Yeah, but it will happen. It will happen. Now you've got the vision. You'll make it. You'll make it become reality.
It's on route, definitely.
100%. Listen, let's just hope. And in the future, we'll probably have another part 2 where you'll be saying, Mikey, I've done this now. I hope. Yeah. I've got 2 questions for you. Then let's wrap it up. One's unserious, one's serious. Mm-hmm. Let's start with the unserious one, and then we'll finish on the serious note. Unserious question. You got one arm.
Yeah.
My brother, how was the police arresting you?
Madness.
I gotta ask. Sorry, bro. Yeah. I gotta ask.
I'm glad you did. So, more time they would just hold me, put me in a car, and just put me in a car with no handcuff on. One time I got arrested at gunpoint.
At gunpoint?
Yeah.
Wow.
That was when after I'd done that sentence at 10.5, I got out, and then they come and nick me for something I didn't do. I got recall for that, done a year on recall, and then after I got NFA'd, whatever. But they come at gunpoint now, and I'm in bed, I was living in a hotel then, and they come through, they knocked on the door, I'm police. I said, oh shit, I'm thinking, oh shit. So I'm in my boxes, I come to the door, they're saying, get on your fucking knees, do you know how they talk? Like, get on your knees, I will shoot you if you do. And I'm like, oh, chill out, bro, I'm in my boxes. And then they put me on the knees, and the guy's got on top of me, like, what am I gonna do? And I was like, fucking got me on my knees, like, get back up. And then they're holding my arm and walking me back, pointing all these guns at me. And I was just like, what the fuck, man? Like, put me in a car. But when I go court, they would sweatbox is like cuffed to the person. But yeah, it is really a problem. Like, I got wrapped up in Loudon. after I got drunk one time. I had a fight with the screw, and they wrapped me up. And they didn't. Again, the Asian guy's like, "What?" He was an Asian officer, and he's like, "What should I do?" And they didn't know what to do because it's not normal. Normally, they get both your hands handcuffed behind your back and have your head down. So they don't know, because when they're holding that hand, I can still spin around, can't I? So they're like, they don't know what to do. They're like, just fucking grab him and lift him. Sometimes that's what they do.
Swear to God.
Yeah, they lifted me and allowed them and just carried me, bro, because they don't know how to hold me. Like, sometimes it is a problem. And bro, they fucking bend up this hand because they're just trying to hold it.
It's hurting you.
But one time, that time in Loudon, they fucking took me to the block, whatever. I said, look, my hand's fucking killing. Like, you've hurt it. They like, didn't believe me. But the fortunate thing, in the morning, when you're on a good order or you're held in the block, you'll get the governor come round every morning and a doctor comes round to do their rounds. So when the doctor come, I'm like, look, my hand's fucked. These cunts ain't listening. I think they're broken. He was like, yeah, this guy needs an x-ray because it was so swollen. Took me to hospital. It was fucking broken, bro. They had to put a cast up my fingertips, yeah? And then they just threw me back in the block again. So I'm in the block now with a cast up to my fingertips. It's already hard enough to be in a cell with one hand. No arms. Now I'm fucking like eating like this. Like a dog, bro.
I shouldn't even be laughing.
I swear to God. And they did not give a fuck. They did not give a fuck.
I should not be laughing. I'm sorry, bro.
I sued them for that.
Did you get any peas?
Yeah.
How much?
25 bags off them.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, because it's human rights. It's breach, bro. Come on, man. They fucking broke my hand and left me like... Bro, I couldn't even go to the toilet. I'm holding it in for that. In the end, they shipped me to Pentonville to a hospital wing, bro. Fucking madness, bro. Yeah, I've been on tour. I've been to many prisons, but...
All right, listen, end it on a serious note, yeah? They should give us a second stop laughing at
man, like dog bowl. That's how they have me. I'm not even going to lie. It's crazy.
All right, look, listen. Up to you if you want to answer this. Yeah, I'll let it be up to you. Let's say your dad's out of prison. He's watching this podcast. You ain't spoke to him in X amount. I know just from doing what I do, my job, what happened when your dad affected your life majorly. If you could say anything to him, what would you say? If he's watching this podcast now and he's actually taken accountability and understood what his life has done.
I said to you, like, I just said to him on a real, like, I don't really feel like he's worth ending it on, but I'd forgive him for what he, like, I don't want to hold that resentment, that anger. So I think, like, just having forgiveness for how he's acted as an adult and just making sure that I don't go on to move like that and break that generational trauma. Like, I don't want to bring up kids when I eventually have them and impact them the same way as him. That's why I have to heal. So, and that's an ongoing journey, bro. Like, I still struggle with certain things. Like, no one's perfect. Like, I'm in a better place. I can hold my aggression, but I still struggle with trust. Listen, you're human. Or certain things. More intimate relationships. Like, that brings deep distrust, and I'm working on that. But like, for him, I just forgive him. Like,
cool, no problem. You don't want to end it on him. Forget that.
Yeah, because it's that.
Talk to me. 3 years. You got 3 goals that you want to complete in the next 3 years. What's your goals? Tell me.
I want to do a book. I've written it. It needs structural edit, and I've reached out to people to help me with that. I want to get that out.
Anyone got in touch?
Yeah, someone has, but I don't think they're serious.
Well, listen, we're on a platform that helps. Yeah. What is it you're looking for? Tell them.
I need someone to structure edit, and then we can publish it. Maybe either self-publish or go to a publisher, because the story.
Where do you want them to contact you? Instagram?
Yeah.
So look, guys, he's looking for a. What is it you're looking for?
A ghostwriter, I suppose.
A ghostwriter. Someone to help Chris. Anyone in the author world, I believe.
Yeah, publishing.
In the publishing world. Get in touch with him. Say you've listened to the podcast on Bluetick Show. I'm sure there's going to be someone out here who knows someone or can put him in touch with someone.
Yeah.
That's what our platform's for at the end of the day.
And I feel like it could potentially, if to see how the book goes, I would love to make a documentary or a film out of it or whatever. That's a dream, I suppose.
Well, we'll have a conversation off camera about something like that.
But maybe more, the main thing I would like to do is make a course. We're making one for disabilities, but make one about the childhood trauma, because that's what really I didn't understand. And once I did, once I got that clarity and that awareness and understanding and worked on that, that's what stopped my offending behaviour. So I want to do something that impacts in prisons for that. And I've been doing public speaking, so this is probably the third goal. I want to be the best I can be at being a public speaker and going and doing big events and speaking in front of big audiences, and even like prisons. I'm going into prisons in January, but I want to do schools, and the goal is to become doing corporates about resilience, grit, just becoming a renowned speaker and honing that craft. So that's the goal, to get better, and I work on that every day or every week. I go to things to work on it, and I do things like this, so it will get there, and that's probably another goal.
Well, listen, I hope you smash every single one of them. You've got potential to do all of them. That's not hard for you. If you can overcome losing one arm and living your life like that, the rest is easy, bro. And
it's not even just overcome it. I feel like I've embraced it now. I've been doing modelling for a inclusive, diverse.
No, bro, I need to show off now, bro.
well, I thought I might as well end it nice. And like, it's not even about like the like model side of it or that thing. It's about like actually showing people that I hated this situation years ago. I couldn't love myself for who I am. Now I would never wear a prosthetic arm. And not only that, I'm trying to show people that you can actually like own that and make them and break systemic barriers and come into industry that actually isn't as dynamic as it should be, and it isn't as inclusive as it should be. And just to do that and advocate for that, it's not about that thing. It's about just showing people, look, no matter what happens to you, you can love the person you are right now, do you know?
Yeah.
And that's what it's about for me. So it's not showing off, honestly.
Listen, listen.
Listen,
100%, bro. Your man's a model, innit? Own it. What do you mean? Listen, honestly, Chris, pleasure having you on again, man. It always is. I think second time we spoke is get better and better.
Yeah, thank you.
Pleasure having you on, and everything happens for a reason. Yeah, maybe sure. I mean, as in audio side. Look at what else. I think this time's been 10 times better.
Yeah.
Guys, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you go follow Chris on Instagram for his latest update.